They say blood is thicker than water. But trust? Trust is thinner than a lie. And my brother? Dylan was drowning in them. I stood there in the middle of our parents' living room, watching him spin another perfect little story. Fake tears. Fake regret. Fake everything. And this time, the story was about me. Blaming me. For everything. Money that went missing. Deadlines that were missed. Mistakes that didn't have my name anywhere near them. But somehow, in Dylan's world, all roads led back to Alyssa. I didn't argue. Didn't interrupt. Didn't defend myself. Because here's the thing about liars like Dylan. You don't have to expose them. They do it themselves. You just have to wait long enough. Let them keep talking. Keep digging. Until they bury themselves in so much fiction they can't tell the difference anymore. And when that moment comes, when the lies stop working, when the mask finally cracks, that's when you move. Silent. Clean. Final. Because funny thing about digging your own grave? Nobody needs to push you in. You'll jump in all by yourself. All it takes? Proof. Receipts. And a sister who stopped playing nice a long time ago. My name's Alyssa. Oldest child. Professional peacekeeper. If there was a family role I was born into, it was responsibility. I was the planner. The fixer. The one who kept everyone else from falling apart. Especially Dylan. My little brother. The golden boy. Mom's favorite. Dad's pride. Everybody's fun, charming, slightly reckless little star. And me. I was the reliable one. Steady. Predictable. Invisible. Unless something went wrong. Then suddenly, it was my fault. Growing up, Dylan could do no wrong. Forgot to pay a bill? Alyssa, why didn't you remind him? Lost his job? Alyssa, help him get back on his feet. Broke our parents' trust again? Alyssa, go talk to him. You're the only one he listens to. Spoiler alert, he didn't listen. Not to me. Not to anyone. Because Dylan didn't need to fix anything. Not when mom and dad treated his screw-ups like minor detours. Boys will be boys. He just needs time. Time. Dylan didn't need time. He needed accountability. But nobody wanted to give it to him. So guess who got to hold the line? Me. Always me. And for years I took it. Kept the peace. Cleaned up his messes. Covered for him more times than I can count. Until he made the mistake of making me the mess. Until he crossed a line even I couldn't ignore. See, it's one thing to lie to our parents. To fake your way through life like you're bulletproof. But when Dylan decided to blame me for money he stole, that wasn't just betrayal. That was war. But not the loud kind. Not the screaming, ugly family dinner kind. No. Dylan wanted a story. Cool. I'd let him tell it. All of it. Right up until he buried himself in lies so deep, I didn't have to say a word. All I had to do, show the truth. And stand back. While he dug his own grave. Looking back now, it's almost laughable how hard I tried to protect Dylan. Not because he earned it, but because for so long, I thought that's what family meant. Protecting each other. Covering each other. Believing the best. Even when they gave you every reason not to. Dylan wasn't always like this. Or maybe he was. Maybe I just refused to see it. Growing up, we were close. Shared a bathroom. Shared secrets. Shared late-night talks about how annoying our parents could be. I used to drive him to school every morning. Made sure he had lunch money when he forgot. Helped him pass math when he almost failed. He used to joke I was like his second mom. What I didn't realize, he meant it literally. Because as we got older, that's exactly how he treated me. I helped him get his first apartment. Put in a good word for him at my old job. Even spotted him rent a couple of times when he was between checks. Always temporary. Always just this once. Until it wasn't. Until it became the norm. Until helping him stopped feeling like love. And started feeling like obligation. But I didn't complain. Not really. Because that's what family does, right? Until Dylan started changing. Lying more. Dodging responsibility like it was a full-time job. Telling our parents just enough truth to sound believable. But leaving out everything else. Little things at first. Like claiming he lost a paycheck in the mail when he really spent it on a last-minute Vegas trip. Or telling mom his car needed repairs when he'd blown the money on sneakers. Annoying? Yes. Surprising? No. But manageable. Until he came for me. Until I became the story. Dylan blaming me? That was a new level of disrespect. He didn't just throw me under the bus. He backed over me twice for good measure. Claimed I borrowed money from our parents' account. That I forgot to pay bills I was never even responsible for. Told them I was bad with money. Me, Alyssa, the walking calculator. The family accountant. The person who saved every receipt every pay stub, every bank statement. If Dylan wanted war? Cool. But he should have remembered one thing. The person keeping all the receipts? Always wins. At first, I didn't want to believe it. I mean, Dylan lied. Everybody knew that. He bent the truth the way some people bend straws, casually, effortlessly, all the time. But lie about me? That was new. And I almost missed it. Almost. It started with Mom calling me out of nowhere. Hey honey, is everything okay with your account? I blinked. What account? She hesitated. You know, the joint emergency fund you and Dylan set up with us? Record scratch. Excuse me? Joint. Emergency. Fund. Since when? I never agreed to that. Never signed for that. Never touched that. But apparently, Dylan had told them I was helping manage it. Helping him make payments. Helping him budget. Accept the account? Overdraft. Fees stacking. Missing money. All of it quietly swept under my name because Dylan said so. That was red flag number 1. Red flag number 2? Dad called me a week later. Alyssa, you said you were going to help Dylan catch up on his car insurance, right? What? No. Never. Turns out Dylan told him I offered. Said I'd Venmo him later. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But red flag number 3? That's the one that flipped the switch for me. Came straight from Dylan's mouth. We were sitting at Sunday dinner. Normal. Until Mom casually asked, "Did you guys figure out the $600 missing from the bill account?" Before I could even open my mouth, Dylan laughed. Yeah, Alyssa said she needed it for some work thing. She was going to pay it back this week. Work thing. $600. Gone. And just like that, my blood went cold. That was my breaking point. Not just because it was a lie, but because Dylan didn't even flinch when he said it. Didn't look nervous. Didn't look guilty. He expected me to sit there and take it. Cover for him. Save his skin. Again. But me? I was done saving him. Done being the quiet sister cleaning up his messes. Dylan wanted to tell stories? Cool. He could tell all the stories he wanted. Because I wasn't going to interrupt. I was going to let him keep talking. Keep digging. And when he was done, I'd be waiting. With proof. With receipts. With the truth. The thing about liars like Dylan? Once they think they've gotten away with it, they get bold. Real bold. And Dylan was feeling invincible. I stopped arguing with him. Stopped correcting the lies in front of our parents. Stopped defending myself. Not because I gave up, but because I was busy doing what people like me do best. Documenting. Watching. Waiting. The deeper I dug, the uglier it got. Turns out Dylan wasn't just telling lies at Sunday dinner. He was running a full-time smear campaign with me as the main character. To our parents. To extended family. Even to family friends. Telling everyone I was bad with money. Always asking him for help. Irresponsible behind the scenes. Acting like I had it all together, but secretly drowning. And the worst, he told them I'd borrowed money from him that I refused to pay back. Me, the girl with color-coded spreadsheets for fun. Borrow from Dylan? The same man who once asked me how overdraft fees worked mid-crisis? Please. I went quiet. Smiled through dinners. Played it cool. But behind the scenes, I built a folder. Literal and digital. Screenshots of every bank transaction from the past year. Venmo history. Text receipts proving he'd begged me for money, not the other way around. Copies of every payment I'd made for him. Lease agreements I'd co-signed for his broke behind that he defaulted on. But I wasn't just building this for my parents. No, this was for Dylan. For that perfect little moment I knew was coming. When he'd sit there, in our parents' living room, spin one lie too many. And I'd finally slide that folder across the table like a lawyer dropping evidence in court. Quiet. Deadly. Undeniable. Because loud liars talk themselves into holes. Smart sisters? We just wait until the hole is deep enough. And then we bury them. With facts. With proof. With absolute silence. The crazy part? I probably could have stopped Dylan early. Pulled him aside. Threatened him. Laid everything out. But where's the fun in that? Where's the lesson? Because guys like Dylan don't learn from being warned. They only learn from impact. From exposure. From consequences. And Dylan? He was building his own downfall beautifully. Every week. A new lie. Every conversation. A new victim. He told my aunt I was behind on my rent. Funny. I own my condo. He told my uncle I'd maxed out my credit cards. Hilarious. My balances were basically zero. He told my mom I'd lost my job and was too embarrassed to tell anyone. Meanwhile, I was literally sitting at my desk working remote while she texted me that nonsense. But the lie that really sealed it? He told our dad I'd borrowed money to cover a secret vacation I took. A vacation. Me. The girl who hadn't left the state in months because I was helping pay his late car insurance bill. I almost had to respect the creativity. Almost. But the more he talked, the deeper the hole got. And the best part? He was leaving a digital trail longer than a CVS receipt. Every Venmo request. Every text asking for a quick loan. Every promise to pay me back next week. That obviously never happened. All documented. All saved. All time-stamped. Meanwhile, I started talking to my parents. Carefully. Gently. Not defensive. Not argumentative. Just planting seeds. Mom, how's Dylan doing on his car payments these days? Dad, didn't Dylan say he paid off that bill? Weird, I just got another notice addressed to me. Little things. Letting them wonder. Letting them think. Because soon, Dylan wasn't going to need my help ruining himself. He was doing that just fine on his own. And me, I was going to be right there. Quiet. Calm. Proof in hand. Watching him talk himself straight into disaster. Everybody has a moment where they're just done. For me, that moment came on a random Tuesday night. Group family dinner. Nothing fancy. Dad grilled. Mom made her famous potato salad. Dylan showed up late, like always, all fake charm and extra loud energy. I already knew he was gearing up for something. People like him? They can't resist the spotlight. And sure enough, mid-dinner, right between his third burger and a story nobody asked for, he dropped it. Oh, and by the way, he glanced right at me. Alyssa's been struggling with money lately. I've been helping her out when I can, of course. Complete silence. Dad raised an eyebrow. Mom gave me that soft, "Is everything okay?" Look. And Dylan sat there, smirking, playing the humble hero, the provider, the selfless little brother saving his poor struggling sister from financial ruin. That was it. That was my breaking point. Not because of the lie. I expected the lie. But because he sat there, in front of our parents, comfortable, confident, knowing he was full of it, knowing he was framing me, and thinking I was too polite, too loyal, to fight back. He was right. About the first part. Not about the second. I went home that night and finalized the folder. Everything. Color-coded tabs. Labeled transactions. Screenshots. Text receipts. Bank records. My dad's missing money? Direct deposit to Dylan's own account. Bills Dylan said I forgot to pay? Literally in my name, and every payment made by me. Fake loans he lent me? Didn't exist. My text history told a completely different story. Then I printed it all. Stapled it. Packed it into a clean black folder like I was walking into court. Because I kind of was. Family court. Kitchen table edition. And I waited. Waited for the next family gathering. Waited for Dylan to start talking again. Waited for him to feel just comfortable enough to dig that grave one final inch deeper. Funny thing about clarity? Once you have it, everything else gets real quiet. No more second-guessing. No more frustration. No more, maybe I'm overreacting. Nah, I was done. Done cleaning up after Dylan. Done keeping the peace. Done saving someone who would throw me under the bus without blinking. The next Sunday dinner, I showed up early. Sat at the table like nothing was coming. Cool. Calm. Patient. Mom was setting out the plates. Dad was watching the game. Dylan rolled in late, again. Big grin. Fake charm. Same routine. But this time, he wasn't the only one playing a role. I'd rehearsed this moment in my head 1,000 times. Not with yelling. Not with drama. But with facts. Receipts. Silence that cut deeper than any argument ever could. And right on cue, Dylan started running his mouth. Man, things have been tight lately. But you know me, gotta help family. Can't leave Alyssa hanging. He even chuckled like he was humble about it. Mom sighed. Dad looked uncomfortable. Both of them turning their eyes toward me. Waiting. Hoping I wouldn't make a scene. Poor, struggling, helpless Alyssa. Bless Dylan's heart for being so generous, right? Except this time, I reached down, pulled the black folder from my bag, and slid it across the table. No words. No emotion. Just placed it there like a bomb waiting to go off. Thought you guys might want to see the full story. Simple. Final. Dead quiet. Dylan's face? Priceless. Absolute stillness. Because liars love control. Love spinning the story. But paperwork? Proof? That's the one language they can't argue with. Mom opened the folder first. Dad leaned in. And within seconds, everything changed. Flipping through receipts. Bank statements. Venmo history. My name clean. His name dirty. Every lie exposed. Every fake story dead on arrival. I didn't need to raise my voice. Didn't need to argue. Didn't need to defend myself. Dylan had already talked himself straight into the hole. All I did, handed them the shovel. The living room was dead silent. Mom's hands were shaking as she flipped through the folder. Dad's jaw was clenched so tight I could hear his teeth grinding. And Dylan? Dylan wasn't laughing anymore. He wasn't talking. Wasn't smirking. He looked like a man watching his whole fake little world cave in slow motion. Because it was. Every lie. Every story. Every fake little narrative he'd built over the past year. Gone. Undone by a folder full of boring, black and white truth. Bank records. Screenshots. Payment receipts. His Venmo requests with his words right there in blue and gray bubbles. Can you spot me rent this month? Hey, can you cover me real quick? I'll pay you back Friday, swear. Spoiler alert? He never paid me back. Dad's voice was like ice when he finally spoke. Dylan, care to explain this? And Dylan, the man who always had a comeback, always had a story, said absolutely nothing. Nothing clever. Nothing cute. Just. It's not what it looks like. Classic. Oldest line in the liar's handbook. Dad raised an eyebrow. Looks like theft to me. Mom looked heartbroken. Not angry. Not yelling. Just. Devastated. And somehow, that hurt worse than anything. Because Dylan didn't just steal money. He stole trust. Stole peace. Stole the benefit of the doubt from the two people who gave him chance after chance after chance. I sat there completely still. Didn't gloat. Didn't brag. Didn't rub it in. Because this wasn't for revenge. This was for closure. For clarity. For me. And for Dylan, this was checkmate. Because now, it didn't matter how good he lied. Didn't matter how fast he talked. His game was over. Exposed. Finished. All that was left was the fallout. The thing about liars like Dylan, they're loud until they're caught. And when they're caught, they get real quiet. Real fast. He sat there like a deer in headlights. Frozen. Cornered. Completely exposed. Because there was nothing left to say. Not when every fake story he told had a paper trail running straight back to him. Every loan he claimed he gave me? Non-existent. Every bill he said I forgot to pay? Paid in full by me. Every account he claimed we shared? Opened and controlled entirely by him. It was surgical. Clean. Devastating. Dad didn't yell. He didn't have to. That disappointed dad energy hits harder than any shout ever could. You're not just irresponsible, he said quietly. You're a liar. Mom. She looked like she didn't even recognize him. All this time, you let us believe Alyssa was struggling. She shook her head like she could shake off the betrayal. But it clung to the walls like smoke. Permanent. Lingering. Heavy. And me. I sat there. Calm. Still. Unbothered. Because I'd already won. Without yelling. Without crying. Without lowering myself to his level. I let him talk. I let him dig. And then I let the truth bury him alive. Dad told Dylan to leave. Right then. Right there. No more dinners. No more fake apologies. No more access to the family account. No more rescues. Dylan packed up that night, tail between his legs, and left without a word. Not to me. Not to them. Just silence. The same silence I'd given him while he built lie after lie. The same silence that spoke louder than any fight ever could. Funny how quiet things get when the liar runs out of stories. Funny how heavy the truth feels when it lands. Funny how peaceful it is when you stop saving people from their own mess. Life got real quiet after Dylan left. Not awkward quiet. Not tense quiet. Peaceful quiet. The kind of quiet that lets you breathe again. The kind of quiet you never realize you were missing until it's finally back. Mom apologized to me more times than I could count. She cried. Hugged me tight like I was going to disappear next. I'm so sorry, Alyssa. I should have trusted you. I wasn't mad at her. Not really. Because parents want to believe the best in their kids. That's human. But after that night, nobody questioned me again. Not about money. Not about responsibility. Not about Dylan. My word was law now. Because receipts don't lie. And neither did I. Dad was quieter about it, old school pride and disappointment clashing in his chest. But he pulled me aside before I left that night. Simple words. Heavy meaning. I'm proud of how you handled this. That meant more than anything. As for Dylan, word got around fast. Family talks. Always has. Always will. Suddenly those friends he loved bragging to stopped answering his calls. Family events? He stopped showing up. Not because he wasn't invited, but because shame travels faster than text messages. Especially when everyone knows exactly what you did. Especially when you built the lie. And someone else had the courage to tell the truth. He sent me one text weeks later. Just 3 words. "You ruined me." I didn't even respond. Because I didn't ruin him. He ruined himself. I just stopped protecting him from the consequences. Me. I went back to my life. My peaceful, boring, beautiful life. No drama. No lies. No fake stories. Just me. Doing what I've always done. Showing up. Standing tall. And never, ever, apologizing for protecting my peace again. Funny thing about graves? Nobody digs them faster than a liar. Nobody falls in harder than someone who swears they're untouchable. And nobody walks away cleaner than the sister who finally stopped saving them. They say family means nobody gets left behind. But sometimes, leaving someone behind is the only way to survive them. Dylan thought being my brother meant I'd cover for him forever. That I'd keep saving him. Keep lying with him. Keep cleaning up after him. He thought my silence meant weakness. That my patience meant permission. But me? I wasn't being silent to protect him. I was being silent to watch him bury himself. Because the truth about people like Dylan? You don't have to fight them. You just have to wait. They dig their own graves. One lie at a time. One fake story at a time. One stolen dollar at a time. And when the ground finally gives out beneath them, you won't have to lift a finger. You just stand there. Calm. Collected. Proof in hand. And watch it all collapse. Dylan didn't lose because I ruined him. Dylan lost because I stopped saving him. I let the truth speak for me. I let the receipts do all the talking. And now, my life is quiet. My peace is loud. And my silence was the loudest lesson he'll ever learn. Because when you lie long enough, when you betray the one person who always had your back, there's only one thing left to say. Enjoy the grave you dug, Dylan. Hope it was worth it.
Thanks so much for watching. If you love a good revenge story, or if you've ever dreamed of getting the last word without saying much at all, you're in the right place. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new savage ending. Because around here, karma always hits different.